semi-punctual live stream that you're currently watching. My name is Dave, as always, and I will be your gracious host tonight. And by gracious, I mean attentive and hopefully somewhat entertaining. Let me get this wire squared away and hope I don't lose sound. Looks like I made it, but I want to thank everyone who has been waiting patiently, and hopefully, like I said, the show won't disappoint. Let me raise this up a little bit. All right. Hope everyone's having a swell and dandy beginning of the weekend. Mr. Kaz, waiting patiently, sir. Thank you so much. Glad you can make it, and if you need to go to bed, go to bed. Don't wait on me. Let's see. Let me turn this gain up a little bit here. Wait a minute here. There's something going on. Well, it's working. Doesn't sound amazing, but I am a little far back there. Mr. Grand, good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you can make it, and thank you for sending me your episode breakdowns. That was a really cool idea. I'm listening to the stream real fast. Okay, that's getting better. I upped the gain a little bit. Work is great. We had another good-sized class this week, earlier in the week. And we have some more meetings scheduled for next week. And hopefully more classes will come of that. And we have some more actually scheduled out for later on in the month, too. So work is good. Church is good. I didn't even make it back Wednesday in time to go to church, so I missed it. But we'll see Sunday. It should be pretty good. But the week was good. The week was productive, which is kind of weeks I like. And the only thing I can report is I don't really feel any different or better than I have been. So forgive me once again. The clearing of the throat's going to be worse than usual because this, whatever it is I have, just will not go away. Remember to hit the mute button sometimes. And it was a really hard time because basically my job nowadays is to talk. So yeah, that was interesting, trying to teach the classroom. Like, by the time, like, the end of the day, last hour, my voice was just, it was going in and out. It's terrible, so. But, you know, we're going to persevere on. We're going to keep on keeping on, so. It is what it is. That's enough about me, my problems. How are the rest of you? How is chat doing tonight? Like, the Edge of the Frontier stories, like Apocalypse Now. That's why the Hyperion books were so cool. There was kind of an edge of the territory kind of feel to those books, too. Some of the best sci-fi books ever written. That motorcycle never... You must have... I'm guessing you have, like, a list, like, notepad or something that's got all your sayings on there so you can just quick copy and paste. Almost like you're running macros. Have a great weekend, sir. Rest well. Be well. Spitfire, sir. That was my favorite. That was my favorite plane. Actually, I used to build models when I was a young boy and teenager, and I built. My favorite things to build were the World War II planes, and some battleships. But the Spitfire is my favorite plane that ever flew, at least aesthetically. And followed very closely by the old full collapsible wing Corsair. But see, you learn a little bit more now about the fabled history of one on YouTube. So, let me... What is this? Nothing that I need, that's what it is. Hurricane's nice, too. I mean, there wasn't too many ugly planes. I mean, even the Zero had its merits, right? But, I just love the lines of the Spitfire, and I love the meanness of the engine and the exhaust and all that coming out. So, tis an amazing thing. Get that switched over here. Yeah, most people say the Mustang, or a lot of times, sometimes you'll hear like the hardcore ones go like P-38s or whatever like that. But yeah, for me it was always Spitfire. Messerschmitts were pretty beautiful too, actually. Did you ever get into the prop planes that used the U.S. used in Vietnam War, Skyraider? No, I've never been in them. Now my stepdad, he was a small airplane pilot, so I flew in a lot of like Cessnas and Bonanzas and stuff like that, Cherokees, but never flew in a warplane, as it were. Oh, you mean get into? I'm sorry, no, never mind. I think I built one jet um, from that era, but I don't think it was a bent wing or folding wing. But I don't think I actually built too many of the more modern birds. Sorry, I'm a little dense sometimes. I was thinking there, but I kept all my stuff to like World War II for the most part. B-17s, B-52s, that sort of thing, too. Rather than MiGs World War II and really look a lot like a P-40. Yeah. Um, or how they look like a P-40. You take the same basic idea and shape of the airplane. You don't really mess with it too much, right? That's why a lot of them look real similar because, I mean, the body shape and style works, and you won't get messing with the aerodynamics too much. Mess with your lift and all that other stuff and drag. Russian tech. I'm going to replicate you now in Russian voice. In Soviet Russia, plane lands you. Yes. Let's see what else today. Let's see. Oh, put up some more lighting around the arcade. So did that today too. I have so many splices and everything going on around this room. It's ridiculous. USB splitters galore. Got some more on the way. I wonder what happens to my energy consumption when I turn everything on. Free 99 cents. I've yet to receive a super chat of any kind. That's okay, because I'm getting ad revenue, so there we go. I had a couple people I thought were going to swing in tonight, and I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know. Some buddies of mine in the real world. But that's okay. Because they can talk to me anytime, really. But sometimes it's just more convenient to do it here. So I don't know if anyone has any interesting plans for this weekend. I have, what was I going to do? I had a couple work things I need to get done and some house organization things, but not a lot. I forgot to mention on the Cyclops from the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the late great Harryhausen, you used the other week. Man, what's funny is a lot of Harryhausen clips have been coming into my YouTube feed lately. I'm not sure why. And that's kind of where I got the idea for the Cyclops, right? And I was watching the one with him versus the dragon, and the Cyclops versus the Kraken, and it's just amazing what they could do with stop motion, man. And I used to love this kind of movies growing up. Absolutely loved them. It's been so long, and sometimes it's hard to go back and watch, Not really so much for the effects, but a lot of the acting is really rough to watch, It was so maudlin, but I just have a day off, watch football, chill. Well, there you go. Yeah, he was the king of stop motion, and it's just so organic looking, and like what people don't appreciate. I mean, not only the time it took, but like he would even put like certain mannerisms, and if you look closely, the facial expressions on things, and so he was just such a master at that. Lord only knows how long it would take to put those scenes together, and there's some long fight scenes. Well, you enjoy that football. And chilling, of course. When you have a day off, you must make the most of it. I need to shoot a video this weekend. Some of them have been getting decent traction lately, so I need to get a little more regular with my uploads. Justin, good to see you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. I need to check, shoot over your channel, see how many more videos I've missed. I get so behind on people's stuff. You always got some cool gear. One thing is, I get a little leery of watching your channel because I'm finally phased out a little bit of my my prepping phase. So I was like, I don't want to get back into that again. Spend a bunch more money. But you know, the funny thing is, I didn't really collect many like weaponries and stuff. I collected like, you know, cheap stuff to make a prep. You should definitely upload a YouTube video. I know I'm slow, and I like making my own preps, like, and making my own first aid bags and all that kind of stuff. You know, at a reasonable price. That's the kind of thing I did. But I have a few knives, but you've been laxing the uploading. Yeah, you're like me. In fact, I do have one. Let's see if I can reach it without having to get up here. I'm tethered. Oh, hold on. You can see one of my favorite hacks, actually. I don't have too many knives close to hand, but like my Mora, I have several Mora knives. And I think is that where you found my channel? Was from the Mora video I did a couple years back? Oh, that's not in there. But yeah, this was, I forget the model, which one is this? It's a 731, yeah. And one of my favorite knives for like bushcraft and all that, and it's like 20 bucks. I personally like the shorter one. I think it's the 712. This is kind of a long. I usually like a shorter knife for bushcraft knife, but the handles, these have the best handles, man. And but you don't need anything fancy for a lot of prepping. But I've had this knife for a long time, and you actually see a couple of my hacks that I do. Like, people kind of look at you funny. I prep a lot different than a lot of people do, right? So like everything I have is usually high vis. So if it's not, I wrap like surveyor's tape around there or fluorescent duct tape. And then one of the other hacks, I like to do multiple things with stuff. So on the outside of the sheath, I keep a little used Sawzall blade on there for a couple things. It's easy to hit flints with old used blades like this, and you can use it to cut through scrub or something. So little branches. The other were kings of stop motion. Kenneth, I don't know if I said hi to you, but welcome, sir. Always good to see you. David Allen and Jim Danforth. First aid is a big part of being prepared. Yeah, most people are not well prepared, and like people think of like first aid bags as like, well, you need to have a defibrillator in there and this and that, and it's like, no, and saline wash, no. It's first aid. Like, you need stuff that helps stop the bleeding, right? And you can, you know, bandage a limb up, that sort of thing. But it's like some people, they go way overboard on like first aid stuff, and then their first aid bag is bigger than a backpack, and you're not going to carry it with you when you need it, right? So Dave Allen and Jim Danforth worked on the movie The Equinox, 1970. That was a super creepy film. Didn't have a good ending. It's why you don't deal with supernatural demons. Yeah, no, it's never a good idea. It never ends well. I found your channel via the descent of you. Okay, I couldn't remember how it came in, but I did a years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, I did a video on Mora knives. Why I consider them the best bang for your buck bushcraft knives that you can have. And so I didn't know if you'd seen that one, but I go through a couple different models that I own. But I actually haven't bought a knife in quite some time. Probably since one of the batches of these. I got Mora knives all over the place, so I keep one or two in the truck at all times. In every bag I have one. So, like, I build my bags just about the same. And I got several different types, but let's see, the Equinox 1967 is actually a super cool flick. I think it inspired later movies in the 1980s, like Evil Dead, Hellraiser, and others others that I can't recall. Never seen it. Can't say I have. Oh, Mr. Roy Kirk. You honor us with your presence, sir. And I am doing dandy, and I hope you are as well. Coming in hot from down in Louisiana. I found your channel on the now defunct 100% Must Read series. Yeah, you and Justin both. Go figure. Make sure that your bell button has support of at least one major superpower so that you can lean on them when rival bell buttons try to steal back what you have rightfully stolen for yourself. That's right. The winner is never wrong. So So, but thank you for that. But yeah, like I said, I build all my bags. Excuse me. The same way, just depending on what I'm going for, more stuff goes in there, right? You have to have some sort of cordage. You have to have a couple different ways of lighting a fire, right? And you got to have some way of keeping warm. So usually it's like some sort of thermal blanket, some basic first aid stuff, a little bit of alcohol or iodine, some gauze, a few things like that. But it's like I don't pack like splints and all that stuff. And I do have a tourniquet kit in one or two of my things, but and you usually can find a slat or a piece of wood around somewhere to make a splint. So it's like people just carry way too much stuff sometimes, I think you'd like the Equinox, especially the stop motion. Yeah, I dig on stop motion. I like it. They even use stop motion on Nightmare on Elm Street 3. They had like a Jason and Argonauts fight with Freddy the Skeleton at the end. It was kind of interesting. Take care, Justin. If you don't come back, tuck them in well, sir. I'm old. I can't remember how I finished here. Probably through Metarog. At greater shows. Yeah, I used to be a little more comic-centric back then, The channel just moves around. It's one of the reasons I don't grow very fast. Because you never know which phase I'm going to be in, I think someone posted a video who went between the Borg versus the Dominion. I think the answer was the Dominion. Reason is because they're rarely taken prisoner. Yeah, if you the key is to destroy a Borg ship with the initial volley, right? And hope they're not communicating through subspace, so the hive or the collective gets a hold of how you destroyed them. But if not, you can keep doing that. They'll overpower you in numbers and strength of their tech. Strong yawning, like something wants to come out that's stuck. I think that's I'm going to be yawning a lot too. I feel it. It's been a long week. I'm tired. It's late for an old fellow like me. Grader's notes. It's funny. It was Roger actually reached out and he wanted to possibly do another one. Which I need to send him another message that reminds me. 3 of the 4 people said yes, I being one of them. So I think we're waiting on Mr. Miracle. I actually have the book back there. It was a Daredevil one, Frank Miller Daredevil. I actually ordered it for the show, and then we never did it. And I know it stinks. I definitely couldn't do it now, because I never know, where I'm going to be every week. Not usually, so... yes, deleted alien sentry guns. For years, the only time I'd ever seen that footage was on TV. Our Fox affiliate back in Orlando used to show it back in the late 80s and early 90s every now and then. Funny in the daytime too, right? And you'd see those scenes, you saw the sentry gun scene, and sometimes, I can't remember if the TV show showed the Ripley, I can't remember her daughter, or was it Ellen? I can't remember her daughter's name, but it was showed little stuff about her on the space station before she goes to LV-426. Did you cover the work week? Was a trip at the beginning successful? Yes, it was. And week is covered, done. My partner and I went out there and just conquered. That's what we do. Actually did all the billing today, so there's that. So it's going very well. Beats working for the state, I can tell you that much. Trinity's out there lurking. The professional lurker, as it were. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Glad you can make it. Eyeballs and all. For a sermon with Blessed Reverend David of Gino Presents. People would do well not to send me any kind of tithing or tribute. Gino Presents 10 TV shows that I wish were properly rebooted. Oh, yeah. It's just so hard, when the original actors are just too old to reprise the role, And then you got, modern sensibilities in filmmaking. It's just, I'd rather, just like Cloud said in Final Fantasy Advent Children, stay where you belong in my memories. So, maybe Parker Lewis Can't Lose, Werewolf. A lot of Fox shows that didn't last very long, right? Missed last week due to hanging out with high school buddies again. Well, how could you do that? Aren't I a little more important than people you used to know 42 years ago? Your priorities are slipping, sir. I hope you had a great time. Jesse, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Friday to you as well. Good to see everyone, too. Glad you can make it back, as always. Don't feel bad. I don't know the last time I saw your live stream. If and when you do it, let me know. Shoot me a message somewhere, and I'll be sure to tune in, support you like you've always done for me. I appreciate that. And I'm still not playing Marvel Strike Force. How about that? I can't believe the game's still going. It's a going concern, I guess. Still. In fact, I wanted to check something. That reminds me. Look at you, 42,000 subscribers. My hero. Oh, I need to watch your Punisher vid. Because he was always my favorite, so... I consider myself something of a... Frank Castle, well, I used to be something of a, savant, but, was the nature of mission, right? We look for things. That was kind of a difficult conversation for him to have. Well, he did everything wrong. Riker always did everything wrong when he took over, you know? Packleads are a group of aliens whose data deposits may have undeveloped language centers, which means they seem to be about as smart as the average 4-year-old. But it was an interesting show, or an interesting episode, should I say. And Jordy took a whole lot of phaser shots. What was it, like the red mist or something? What was it? Oh, I can't remember what it was. It was the stupidest sounding stuff, but I mean, they of course fell for it. They're Packlids, but there's been a lot of footage running around of Gowron. I guess there was a Star Trek game or something a long time ago, and he was fighting a bunch of Packlids or trying to get them to join him or something like that. I've been seeing that, like Robert O'Reilly clips, like coming in my YouTubers or whatever. I haven't actually watched them, but I make my ship go by buying more cabs. That's what I do. I have to put on my blue blocking glasses here. Let's see. All right. Man, I feel like I could do trigonometry all of a sudden. But yeah, it was a good week. Good week, man. We got to help mold some young minds and teach them how to behave in the workplace. While a couple of old dudes sit there and tell them what's what, you know. It can be a little disheartening sometimes because sometimes those kids look bored absolutely to death. But I mean, you got material you got to go over, you know. So it is what it is. We try to make it as interesting as we can, but the poor Packlids, they need a reboot too. Maybe they were actually super geniuses. It's just their language was so underdeveloped they couldn't really communicate what they wanted to do. I was just reading how Ian McKellen told Patrick Stewart not to be in Star Trek, but Picard said he didn't know if he'd ever get an offer from a U.S. show again, so he went for it. And, you know, someone probably told him, it's like, you know, Pat, U.S. shows tend to go on for a long time, unlike every European show except for Doctor Who, right? So instead of going on for 1 or 2 seasons, why don't you just sign on over there? You'll probably go for a whole bunch. And he's like, you know something? You might be right. What's Ian McKellen know, for goodness sakes? I'm not everything I want to be, but I'm more than I was, and I'm still learning. Charlotte Erickson. And I hope that's all of us, right? Yeah, when I was teaching, I could put 20 students to sleep right away. It doesn't take long. Especially now, because people's attention spans are really low, but you make them put their phones down. Why can't you just comply? Why do you argue all the time? Can't you just go sit on the chair? Go on, go sit on the chair. And Data does say he won't do it. I'll keep his Faja Fellatio. Yep. Ably played by the amazing Saul Rubinek. Some people might remember Saul Rubinek from Unforgiven as the somewhat unscrupulous biographer that was following English Bob around, and then eventually Little Bill. But it's good sometimes you go up and just like wake him up and say, hey, get up. You gotta keep your head up, keep your head up. Aw, you're still here? You almost never post twice. Thanks for hanging out. It must be this riveting conversation I'm regaling you with. And how I bore students and still get paid either way, so. It's fun. Sometimes you see the lights go on. People will give them a notion that they hadn't expected. The moon is full, the air is still. All of a sudden I feel a chill. Victor is grinning, flesh is rotting away. Skeletons dance, I curse this day. In the night when the wolves cry out, listen close and you can hear me shout. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Sorry, I was trying to do a Vincent Price kind of thing there. I don't have the waiver quite down. Unforgiven. Wasn't there a watch party for that movie? Yeah, there possibly could have been. I can't really recall. Something about free ones? I don't remember. Interesting time in the wrestling world. Edge isn't all elite, and Sasha Banks might be too, while CM Punk might be going back to WWE. It's funny because my business partner, he's a huge wrestling guy. He still goes to shows and stuff. I just talk about old wrestling, so him and I like that. I was trying to get, because his band is going to be playing a really big gig, Halloween they usually do, down at the Allegheny Asylum. And I said, you should go as wrestlers this year. You can make your bass player, he's real big, tall guy, too. I said, you make him Kane. And and his drummer looked just like Ted DiBiase. He's like, make him the $1 Million Man back there. Why don't you knock it off with them negative ways? You're all over the place with these movie quotes. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. Sorry, Vincent. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell. I can't remember the rest of it. It's been a long time since Thriller, but but at least the old time wrestlers are still getting to work, right? It's just, I don't know. For me, like, I really don't care about the product anymore. But what's funny is I don't really care about wrestling that much. I like the lifestyle. It has always fascinated me, like just the territory days and like them creating characters and how they rode or traveled around constantly and how they lived their life and all that. That always fascinates me. But like I almost never watch matches because like what makes it hard for wrestling now is there's no suspense. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. Kayfabe is dead, right? So once that is, I just can't get invested. But like we were kids, we thought Andre was going to kill Hulkster, right? Not that I ever liked the good guys. I always liked the bad guys, but I like the heels. If I hit you with a Thriller dance, it's over. It's over, Hannigan. You've got the high ground, but checking some messages there. Sorry about that. The thing that fascinates me is the logistics behind traveling and shows. Oh, it's amazing how they set up. Like, especially those all the pyro and the lights and all that they got to set up. And that road crew has just got the stuff down, setting the ring up and all that. It's an art form, and just getting everything just so. And then especially on TV ones, you got all the cameras where they need to be. It's a brutal lifestyle. Like, I mean, it was hard enough back when there was territories, but at least it was confined to a few states. Now you're a national, almost a syndicate, right? So you might be in Florida one day, and then by the end of the week you're over in California, and then it's back again. I know it was really bad in like the Canadian territories was really bad for that. all the traveling they had to do, like hundreds of miles a night sometimes. Daniel Barry, good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is grand as well. So, especially Grand, who's in the chat. I don't know. I wear these little things, these blockers, or whatever, man. And it seems to like irritate my eyes quickly too. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Maybe my eyes have become dependent on the radiation that's just pouring into them at all times. Tails Umox when we were seized at Tales of Ponfar. Yeah, that would, we were all suffering for some Ponfar, I'm sure you could say. And the Umox over there were terrible. Some would say unavailable. But good to see you, good to see you. Good to see everyone tonight. I'm glad y'all took a few minutes out of your, no doubt, busy Friday evenings to watch Little Old Me. And, I hope, once again, that it will be some conversation that will be at least interesting, if not enlightening. So, if y'all have a subject you wanted to get into, let me know. Long-time watchers of the channel know I don't pay any attention whatsoever to world events or even local events. So, it might be something I have no clue about, but you know, we endeavor to make conversation in some way. I am the master of fear, the destroyer of hope, the enemy of mankind through the universe. Mortal, I am evil itself. You know, can you really be evil itself? It's such a singular thing, right? And evil is like a term. Heaven's Gate and Comic Hellbob again. Love this topic. I never heard you ask about that, Grant. It's interesting that you bring that up. I think you just like to use the comment emoji. I wonder what that is, actually. I can't see it on the hover. But, anyway, I digress. You said, to ask about any topic. That's true. You kind of open yourself up to punishment like that. But, yeah, okay, so we were talking about 10 shows that should get rebooted or at least finished, right? You know, everyone usually says Firefly. I remember liking it somewhat in the day. Yes, Werewolf for sure. Assuming we have a time machine for most of the actors, right? Aftermath should have been a lot better. They made a huge mistake in not focusing on the carryover main characters. But it was actually a very, I'm going to say, poignant show. Like, they showed life after war, right, at the VA clinics and centers with people who lived there. And it was... it wasn't always pretty, and so that, I think that show, they just made a huge mistake by like focusing on characters that no one knew. So there's a couple of them right there. Let's see, what would another one be? Seeing as I don't watch a ton of TV, it's tough for me, but there's a couple. Let me think. What else? TV shows that would bring back. Could I, like, delete the last 2 seasons of the Battlestar Galactica reboot and start over from, like, at the end of season 2? That would be fun. And actually make it end well. What else? So there's another one. That's kind of like a rewriting, so I don't know. Yeah, Aftermath. That was, it had Jamie Farr in it, William Christopher, and Harry Morgan. And then it had a couple of well-known character actors. And it wasn't like it was poorly acted, even though the war-injured surgeon was way over the top. I don't know if that was his fault. I think it was just the writing for him. But, like, there was a couple of really good characters in that show, and they were razor sharp. And Rosalind Chow. There's actually a Star Trek tie-in there, because Rosalind Chow, who is Keiko O'Brien in Star Trek, was the wife of Klinger that he married at the end of the original MASH. So, and she was still there, and it kind of showed their marriage quite a bit. It was interesting. So yeah, that was a show that, man, and I think I watched all the episodes of it. I found them on YouTube or whatever, and it just should have been good. It should have been good, but it didn't show nearly enough Harry Morgan. He was almost an afterthought in the show, and he should have been the central character. That see, one problem though with that show is all the characters they chose were the secondary characters from the original show. So some people wouldn't just tune in for that, but I think he could have done a lot better with it. And but they were just trying to introduce new characters that people weren't liking, and some of the episodes just weren't all that funny. You know, if they didn't know if it was a dramedy or it was supposed to be satire, if it was supposed to be serious. So yeah, it just didn't have a real good niche. Let's see what else. Let's see. I'm trying to think of shows that got died a quick death, right? Herman's Head and things like that, you know. Like I said, I really wasn't a TV guy, so yeah. I'm trying to think of other networks now. Yeah, it's not coming to me. Maybe it'll come to me later on the show. But that's an interesting subject to have. And the bad part is I haven't seen most of those shows since like the 80s when was basically the last time I watched much TV at all. So I don't remember if they're any good. Like when I was rewatching or when I was redoing or doing the greatest theme songs of all time, the television theme songs of all time series I was doing, I would, start watching some of the old shows just to see, these are shows I loved when I was a kid. They're so good. Most of them did not hold up. They were really goofy and corny and hard to watch, but the best one was the Jeffersons. That was still a funny show. But so I don't know if I want to include those because most of those got proper send-offs. They had the ratings. Oh, what was funny? I saw. I wasn't even looking for anything remotely like it today. I was shopping through Amazon for something, totally unrelated, and in the suggestions at the bottom, it had all of the seasons, all the episodes of the show. I think it was called Cops. It was the cartoon, and it was like $5. I came close to buying it, but it's like, I don't really watch cartoons anymore either. Thought that was interesting, but I was like, oh man, what if they have Visionaries? That was a cool one, but I didn't see it. That's the other one that should get rebooted. Is Visionaries? That's a really cool notion. That was like the best cartoon, and it didn't last. The Powers of Matthew Starr, 1982, that actually had one of the coolest TV intros of all time. The series was really Yeah, an intro can't save it. Sometimes it just can't. I just thought that was funny, and they had a bunch of stuff like Silverhawks and Mask and just a bunch of like the more B tier cartoons from back then, like series, and they weren't too expensive for the whole thing. But I would love to do either a show. Jason the Wheel Warriors was another one that they actually had the box set, and it wasn't very much. Cops, that was a really fun cartoon. Used to call it Police Brutality. I remember like McBoom Boom and what was it? BP Vest was the boss. Long Arm was like the beat cop or something like that. I don't. That's about as much as I remember, but Tales of the Gold Monkeys, number 9, 1982. Yeah, Jason the Wheel Warriors. Yeah, there. If you listen to some of the intro songs, man, they were so awesome, man. Back in the 80s. Inhumanoids. That was awesome, man. I just love the synth work in some of those. And who could forget Jem and the holograms, right? But yeah, if I could, that would definitely be in my top, maybe even top 5 of shows I'd like to see rebooted, maybe with a little more modern, like DC style animation. Let's just say that, like DC movies, DC animated movies style animation. Boy, that was hard to me to spit out, wasn't it? Jace probably had the best, if not the second best, cartoon theme ever. Yeah, there were some great ones there, and that was up there. Um, Brave Star. Yeah, man, there's so many. But yeah, that was like, but Visionaries have the coolest theme. It's amazing. It's weird how often like that comes up on the channel, like or in these talks, because it was such a good untapped theme. It was like, what's a good word for it, or a good analogy? Like the mix of like sorcery and technology is you don't see it too often, right? And that was like one of the best cartoons that did it. He-Man did it too, but it leaned more on the sorcery side of thing. And I guess Visionaries did too, but it was just the whole backstory is much cooler in Visionaries, you know. I also like the Gummy Bears song, but hey, I was a baby. I mean, Punky Brewster made you dance through the halls, right? So why not? Dave, do you recall the cartoon 1980, usually 31? It had a great theme song, and it was French and Japan collab. That series is often overlooked. No, I don't think I saw that. Of course, I grew up in a really small town, and we had like an antenna, so we got like 2 or 3 channels, and one of them was PBS. So, but we did. You know what's funny is we did have like Ultraman reruns. You'd see those every now and then, and like Voltron. Voltron would come on. It was weird how much anime we got down there. Yeah, Magic is Super Science. It was an interesting mix, right? And if you think about it, like when technology gets good enough, or even if you show technology to past generations, it looks like magic, right? It had a great theme song. Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light. With magical powers they fight. Yes, PBS is where I used to watch all the Doctor Who reruns. Yeah, and they used to show the Tom Baker Doctor Who when I was growing up. Usually followed up by Poirot or something. And then Lawrence Welk at night when Grandpa would turn in. The series I wanted to like was Centurions, but the script was way over the top. Yeah, I remember that show too. It's what I'm thinking, because they had a toy line too, as I recall. Well, all those cartoons back then, they were actually toy lines first and cartoons second. Street Hawk, yeah, that was like they're running out of different things, right? You need you got like Kit, the Knight Rider, and then you got the Airwolf, and so we need a different vehicle, right? 10 TV cartoons, I wish probably would. Yeah, that works, because there's a lot of really cool ones. Um, It's just, man, so often they were just very thinly late or veiled commercials. Doctor Who, Poirot, and a ton of fundraising. Yeah, the tote bags. Who would we be as a nation without our tote bags, right? From PBS. I can still hear Lawrence Welk now, but Tom Baker. And I've watched Doctor Who. I had no idea what it was. I don't understand that well. RoboCop, American TV series, Alien Mine. That wasn't too bad. Or Alien Nation, I mean, excuse me. TV show. That was an interesting one. There were some. They had some interesting subjects. Like I remember one in particular, because I think at that point, the aliens. I can't remember. I remember what their derogatory name was, but I can't remember what their actual name was. But they were taking like a lot of the physical jobs from people because they were just stronger and had more endurance. And so like some people were like, and especially bodybuilders were taking like extra like steroids and all that to try to keep up, right? It was an interesting premise, but it's been a long time. Starcom, the U.S. Space Force. That's where it's from. Okay. No. Did they ever finish the show Gargoyles? I really wasn't really watching much cartoons at that point, but I remember it had some pretty cool animation though. And it was full of Star Trek people, so why not? I have the game on the Legends back there. Okay, the cartoon series. I wonder if there's a tie-in with the comic book series, because RoboCop has his own comic book too over at Marvel, or it might have been Epic. No, I think it was Marvel though. Yeah, well, I mentioned it in passing because that was one of the box sets that was for sale. The Silverhawks. Those are the coolest looking toys. Had a cool theme song as well though. Did it last 1 year? I don't even remember. I don't remember ever seeing that one. The Mighty Warbots. Yeah, we can get back to GoBots, right? There's a cartoon that never got a chance. Gargoyles is freaking awesome. Yeah, it was, man. Good voice. Cool animation, right? Yeah, Brave Star, I have a Brave Star clip, you know. Eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf, strength of the bear. Was it speed of the puma? Was that what it was? I can't remember if it was puma or cheetah. I think it was puma. Brave Star had someone die of an overdose and was trying to teach people a lesson, right? Great show. Cool idea. Cowboys in space. Love it. Xanatos. What a name for a bad guy, right? In Gargoyles. I think isn't that like the Greek god of death or something like that? Or an offshoot of Hades. I never cared for Silverhawks. It was a battle of the planets ripoff. Yeah. Well, most of the cartoons back then were. Basically, I just needed something shiny to put on the screen, get people to buy toys. I don't remember anything about the story. Now, Thundercats, we all know that story, right? If only I could have afforded the... Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Captain Power light gun, so I could play laser tag with the TV. But alas, no dice. Xanatos, not to be confused with Xanthan. 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 Actually, it was speed of a turtle, eyes and wall strength of a chicken. I mean, he had enough technology around him. He didn't need most of that stuff. And he didn't use some of it. They always tried to shoehorn some stuff into, like, the lesser knowns. Like, how often do you need super hearing, you know? Poor Brave Star. It's amazing what will take off and what won't take off. Oh, I think I'm getting feedback on the phone. Hold on. Note to self, when you're using high-end condenser mics, keep your cell phones away from them. They tend to cause static and things. Let's see, how long have I been streaming? I'll probably be on too terribly long tonight, because once again, my voice is shot. It doesn't last that long. Ah, yes. Good old Mumra. I was a fan of Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, too. Darkwing Duck had a cool intro. They had, like, the trifecta back then, because they had Chippendales, DuckTales, and then Darkwing Duck, right? So they had 3 hit cartoons on network TV. With some other spin-offs, too. And a lot of, like, very popular video games on the NES, too. The Mysterious Cities of Gold. Adventures of the Galaxy Rangers. Oh, man, I don't remember any of these shows. I'm just a small-town country boy. Not knowing what the big city folk are watching. And for some reason, I don't know if... ancient spirits of evil transform this decayed form to Mumra, the ever-living. I can't be as over the top. I guess I could be. No one else here. The wife upstairs, but... Oh, I had something I was going to say, too. Now, you made me forget. I guess it's okay. What's that going on about? I'm sure it's something vital to everyone's happiness for this weekend, but... I really can't remember. Black Star, not to be confused with Brave Star. So many stars. And don't forget Muppet Babies, right? I mean, you gotta have, of course, your Smurfs and your Muppet Babies and all that, and the more popular stuff. Punky Brewster, the aforementioned Punky Brewster. Mr. T's Fighting Force. Whatever that show is called. I can't remember. It's been so long. Before there was He-Man, there was Black Star. A little later on, but King Arthur and the Knights of Justice was fun. Don't think I ever watched that one either. Super Friends would come on, though. And Scooby-Doo. I wonder if that's like Camelot 3000, the King Arthur one you're talking about. That's a mix of like sorcery and technology, kid video. Now that one I remember. I don't remember actually getting to watch it. I remember the show. Roughneck Starship Trooper Chronicles. Oh wow, yeah, it's well past my cartoon days. Was that a TV show or? Because I know they made a couple of direct-to-video movies. Actually, all of them were direct-to-video after the original one. The original one still looks amazing to this day. I don't know how they did it on their budget, but it just looks so good. Dino Riders. There's actually a comic book tie-in there, I think. Was that 3D cartoon type? It was really good. Roughnecks was. All the endlessly replayed poses from He-Man were originally created for Black Star. Well, that makes it easy to reanimate, right? You just take the whole cell and draw over top of it. I can always see He-Man. Like I said, it's amazing what would sell back then. He-Man. So goofy. Actually, this is what Starship Troopers should have turned it to after the first Starship Troopers movie. There was like a whole series like that could have happened easily from that movie if it had made money. We already said Dino Riders. That was number 3. We're eagerly awaiting 2 and number 1, of course. Filmation. Yeah. Spiral Zone, 1987. Don't know that one either, man. You're digging deep. You hear the Airwolf theme going on? It's on preview back there all of a sudden. This was one of the darkest cartoons ever. Was it like Aliens vs. Predator dark? When you couldn't see anything that was going on? I don't know. What have I been on? If we get down to number 1, I might go ahead and call it a night. So I've been on over an hour again. And the way my voice has been lately, that's actually pretty good. Yep. Drum roll, please. I actually don't have my Stream Deck hooked up. Otherwise, I'd give you a drum roll. I think there's actually a button for that on there. Thundar the Barbarian. Ah, yes. I wonder if they stole the name Dar from. Was it Beastmaster had Dar in it? Or if they stole it from there? They just knocked the fun off of there. Thundar had it all. Riveting story. Amazing animation. A runaway planet. Don't you hate when they do that? Was it on a comet or a planet? Which one was it? I've seen a bit on the creation. Oh yeah, comet. Okay, it was on a comet. Who wants to travel around on a comet? That makes things rough. It's a little cold, isn't it? No gravity. Runaway David. I am much less cold than the typical comet. I'll say this much. And a lot slower. Well, there's always the Pac-Man hour and his super friends as well, right? So I hear him back there right now going off. Pac-Man gobbling away. You go, boy. This is when the coming of Halley's Comet was feared. Ah, yes. We all thought it was going to run into the planet eventually. I still have some stuff. I was really stargazing a lot back then. I lived out in the country. I thought I wanted to be an astronomer. You know, like, what year was that? I was, I want to say I was 6, 7, or 8, something like that. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I thought it'd be a bigger deal than it was. I fully intend to see it again. In the year 1994, from out of space comes a runaway planet hurtling between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. Between the Earth and the Moon. What if that messes with the tides? But one man burst his bonds to fight for justice with his companions Ukla, the Mach, and Princess Ariel. Can she breathe air? He pits his strength, his courage, and his fabulous sun sword against the forces of evil. He is Thundar, the Barbarian. Not to be confused, and you should someone should redo the opening theme and throw the Riddle of Steel on there. You can get double copyrighted. I wish YouTube was a cooler place for that kind of stuff. I would make up so many cool things, man, but I just know they wouldn't even see the light of day because copyright just shuts you down and locks you out. Crack the moon, so yeah, it would create all kinds of chaos. Yeah, it would have to, right? Like, you're really messing with things. Imagine high tide if something like even the size of the moon came between us and the moon. And, oh my goodness. We'd just all be dead, I'd say. Poor moon. You know, it's always getting the short end of the stick. Of course, if you watch Doctor Who, you know the moon is just an egg anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Did you read the book Starship Troopers? No, the Heinlein book? I don't think I've actually ever read it. I should one of these days. I know it's a biting satire along the lines of Ender's Game, but Ukla taken from UCLA. There's NPC in WoW. It's called King Mukla. He's a big old gorilla out in the wilds of Stranglethorn Vale. He's also a card in Hearthstone. Actually, several cards in Hearthstone. Well, I'm probably gonna start wrapping the show here. I can definitely feel my voice is starting to bother me a little bit. But I hope everyone has a Jim Dandy weekend, and I hope I'll be on next week. I should be on next week. Now, the week after is iffy, and the week after that is even iffier. Because I may be actually working out of town. I love Thundar when they would come across an U.S. aircraft carrier. Excuse me. Hold on. Oh. On beached on land. I had the Planet of the Apes Part 2 vibes. Well, I guess we were wrong. It was Earth all along. Oh, sing it, Dr. Sayus. Do you recall Planet of the Apes Part 2 where those mutants worship that nuclear missile? No, but it's been a long time. I haven't seen either Planet of the Apes probably since the 80s, early 80s. Please don't go. I'll be talking. My voice will start breaking up here for too much longer, probably. It was when I do the work. It's not so bad because James and I hand it off. That's my partner's name. He'll take part of it, and then we just seamlessly hand it back and off, so we get breaks in between. And now a word from our sponsors: blue blocking glasses. Do computer screens give you eye fatigue? Well, we have the cure for that in $5 from Menards blue blocking glasses. Take that radiation away from your precious, precious eyes. Order now and receive a free copy of Songs by Candlelight by Rod Stewart. With a foreword by Liberace. But, yeah, so gonna head on down the road, and I hope everyone has a Jim Dandy weekend. I hope everyone stays safe. I hope everyone does something productive. I hope someone does something to help somebody. I do hope and pray that everyone knows our Savior. And I forgot to open up with that. And if you don't, reach out and talk to somebody or read a book. That reminds me, I need to do a little work on a video for my channel, a commercial during a Thundar break. Well, there you go. More videos, more videos. So send me, shoot me a message and do. I'll make sure to go over there and give it a comment. That quote is too long to post. And you know me, I like my long form comment or content. Yeah, I gotta figure out my next video. I gotta do some stuff, but yeah, y'all take care. You have a good weekend, and I will most likely be on next Friday, same time, same bat channel. So until then, y'all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. All right, take care. Yes, and get over to Men Seeking Wisdom at YouTube.